think people may be wondering why we have a cheetah in here and so many
not
things.
Not a live one, right?
Yeah, not a live one, of course.
One.
A toy one, and so many cheetah prints. Now, cheetah is one of your flagship, let's say, products.
Yes.
And Cheetah stands for something. Tell us a little bit more about what Cheetah is an acronym for and the work that you've been doing under your Cheetah brand.
Okay, so again, thank you so much for having me here this morning. I have to tell you before I even begin how special I felt when I walked in. So there was a special parking spot for me with a cone, and I had an escort. So thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
all of that, making me feel special. So several years ago, I was looking for an opportunity. I wanted to create a business for myself. And I'm very big in education, having had a good educational background here in Jamaica. At the same time, I was also helping my sons to go to college. One of my sons, now he's probably, don't want to tell his age too much, but he's older now. But he was going to college at the time, and I realized then in doing some research that a lot of children are not actually graduating from college. A lot of them are being retained. And so the idea came to me of why not creating something centered around education that's going to make education and learning fun. And also, incidentally, I love the prints, the animal prints. I'm not wearing some of that today. I'm trying to be a little different every now and then. But I've always loved the animal print. I did some research, and of course, I realized that the cheetah is unique. It has a name for itself. And so I got excited. I was out jogging one morning trying to come up with a name for the company. So everything started to take form and shape. And the inspiration comes in, and it says, no, why not call it Cheetah? And then I said, what does that really mean? And then it came to me based on what I wanted to do at the time. I wanted to make education fun. I wanted to connect people to higher education, not necessarily a formal education. I am very big on technology. Even then I realized that technology is going to be a great tool. And so the acronym, I started to put everything together. And so the acronym really means connect to higher education, electronic tools, application, and help. And
right.
and so the app actually didn't make too much sense. At the time I was trying to do a college application too. I came up with a good model of doing like a one application for colleges. Several colleges liked it, but I didn't have the funds then to really create a prototype. But then later on I branched off into a lot of other things. And so I'm proud of the name Cheetah, of the branding, and I'm excited about what we're doing. So in terms of the actual name, the E is very significant because of the tools that we have. And so I have done most of the creation myself. I've found that as I get older, I've gotten a lot more creative. And so the tools include our, let me start off with the books. We have a lot of books that I've created.
We have a couple of them here.
Yes. So one of the first books that we did, Cheetah Goes to College, is the very first one. So I'm the author for all the books that we have now. And that one is also on the ministry's book list for grade 4. It's an inspirational story. It has to do with the tendencies of the animals. So they all wanted to start a school in the animal kingdom, but then nobody came the first day. And then ultimately he decided he had to go out to find his students. And then he met all of these animals and birds, and they all had excuses why they didn't want to go to school. And so, for instance, the birds had to fly south. The bears they had to hibernate. Of course, the lions were arrogant. Or dare you try to teach us anything? We already know everything. We're the kings and queens of the jungle. But then ultimately, why the cheetahs became so fast. If you could guess it, they were the only one who went to owl school. So that was the first book that I did. So the cheetah
is the star of the show?
Of course. Everything is centered around the cheetah.
All right. So you started the company in the U.S., but then you have given back to Jamaica. You've brought your products here to Jamaica.
Yes.
Tell us how you are assisting Jamaica's educational system and helping young people in Jamaica with your Cheetah brand and your Cheetah products.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm really excited to truly be back. So I've never really left, because even though I have lived abroad for a number of years, I went to law school and everything, got further my education in the U.S. I have always been back home, because my home is Portland, Port Antonio.
Right.
We have a family home there. My siblings.
We're going to talk a little bit about how growing up in Portland.
Yes.
But yes.
All right, so for coming back, everybody, I have to say, Coming back has been a great experience. Everybody has opened their arms. I've got a really great welcome. People love to hear what I'm doing. And to be honest, most people don't tell me no. I go in, I have great ideas. So for instance, I may approach a ministry. I said, I have this book that I'm doing. I think it would be a great orientation to be utilized in the schools. And they said, yes, they like it. They bought thousands of copies from me. When I told them about the tablets, and then I've done my research as a business person and realized that I'm competing in a big pool, a pond. Here in Jamaica, I'm a little fish. Well, I'm a big fish in a big pond. Or is it the other way around? I'm dyslexic sometimes. one of those. So here in Jamaica, even though I'm competing with the Dells and the Samson, the Cheetah has a chance to make a name for itself, not only because of the uniqueness, but because of what we bring to the table. We have a lot of different values that we add to our customers.
So I think at this point you could tell us about your Cheetah Tablet, because this is one of the products under
that's our signature project, right?
And it's actually in the schools through the E-Learning Jamaica Tablets in Schools program.
Well, actually, not through e-learning per se yet. It's more through the Ministry of Education.
Right.
So I came after the official pilot for the tablets in school. But since that time, the Ministry of Education has purchased, and other organizations and different individual schools as well have purchased the tablets. So we do a lot of customization, not to give out too much to my competitors, but we have found a unique way to truly add value to our customers. So when they get our tablets, it's somewhat customized, it's tailored for their needs. That's as much I want to say about the tablets. But it's we are excited about it. We are able to, thanks to open source, we're able to have our own name. We talked to Google, got permission, understood how to go about it. There's a thing in marketing, when we talk about business later, that's I've learned a long time ago, that says that you should catch them bragging. It's a marketing tool. So look at what your competition is doing. And so that's what I did. I'm self-taught.
Okay, so tell us more about what you mean by catch them bragging.
Yeah, right. So if you want to mimic someone, if you want, like for me, I'm venturing into something entirely new. So here I am, someone I love to read, but I'm not a techie person. I've always had to call my son to say, hey, can you do this for me in my computers or my phone? But then once I add my books and I realized the inspiration came, and I'm very spiritual, came that why not put all your books on a tablet? And then I said, tablet? And I speak to myself, not in a mad way, but, I have a conversation. And I said, tablets? And it's, the confirmation, like, yes, you could do that. And so I went and looked up to see how I could do that. And so catch them bragging, I looked at what Samson was doing.
Oh, so you studied the competition.
Exactly. So I saw what they're doing, hear what they're doing and how they're doing it. Read a lot about them. I get to understand their specs a lot, the specifications. So then I understand about resolutions and the camera size and the memory and how much space it needs and so on, and the ports. So I taught myself and see what they're doing and somewhat mimic them, but then also trying to add more value to mine. So here I am in Jamaica competing with them, but in a great way. So me as a little company, I'm eating away a lot of their market share,
Understood.
I think. Yeah, because of that term, catch
and
them
being
bragging.
a Jamaican is also an advantage, because we know we speak a lot about buying Jamaica and building Jamaica and so on.
Yes.
And my friend right here is also a signature product of your brand. I think he can sing if I can get him to do something.
Yeah,
All right,
let me try
we'll do that in a bit. But talk about him. He has a name.
Okay, so I have so many things, and we talk up later about my creativity, but I believe that God has given me so much, and one of the things is the creativity. So here he is. He's singing our theme song. Yeah. I am a cheetah. You gotta know the song before we leave.
I know it.
Okay, teach me more.
You actually got him into the schools.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that. How did you get schools to actually buy into the program and get some of these toys into the
so
students?
you might tell you that people really don't say no. I have great ideas and they see the value. So we bought the toy rather initially for young children, and it sings our theme song, and what the cheetah is really about. You're a cheetah, future leader, and the cheetah is saying, teach me more.
Right.
And so our knowledge is power, school is a tower where you get the tools. You're probably not hearing it so clearly, but that's what it's really saying, our theme songs. So here I went to a school, several schools, and I told them, why not do, I'll be happy to do a co-branding with you. And I had an advisory board, and they didn't like the idea too much because they're thinking that, okay, it's Cheetah, it's your brand.
Right.
You shouldn't have anybody else's name on it. But I think I wanted to add value, so why would they want to buy into it if they don't see a part or see themselves in it? Mm-hmm. So what I ended up doing was to offer the toys to different schools. Jesse Paul,
right.
a prominent school here in Kingston. They bought hundreds of them. We did a co-branding. We put our Cheetah logo on our website, but also their information.
Oh, so the school names was
right.
actually...
So Jesse Paul was on the
okay.
front. And so we have done that with a few schools. And so for that particular school, how they utilize it is used as an incentive. And for people who are coming, students who are coming in for that year, everybody got one of the toys. But we have utilized it even high school, surprisingly. People, because in Jamaica we love the dancing and so on. So lot of people...
So what has the reaction from students been like to
you would believe,
chase the cheetah?
You would believe a celebrity walks in the room. and that's another thing. When you do your business and I do a lot of things on my own, but then to be able to have that validation and that people truly likes it, I think, and then to also see your production, something that you have dreamt of, and you see it in reality and see the tangible effects of it, I think that's one of the most amazing feelings. So, having created it, and of course, this is not entirely new. And so when I teach, I talk about innovation. It doesn't always have to be brand new. It could be a combination of the old and the new. So I did not create the dancing toys. We have a lot of dancing toys out there. But I was able to substantially change it and came up with a design. Went to China myself, have the prototype made, have it tested with all the federal government because it's a U.S. Toy.
Okay, so it's patented in the U.S.
Yes,
okay.
And it has to go through a lot of testing. The fabric, the eyes. I drove to Washington, D.C. myself to have a pull test for the eyes and the nose and so on. And so it's a great feeling. I probably went far from what you were asking me, but it's a great feeling to have been able to make it and see the children's reaction to it and loving it, and they want it, and they want me to call their parents right away, and they want to give me their lunch money, and I'm saying, no, I can't take your money, but here's my number. You could have your mother or your parent call me
to get a toy.
Yes, okay. So their response have been tremendous. Yeah.
All right. So we're speaking with Dr. Paulette Trowers, entrepreneur and founder of Cheetah. If you have any questions for Dr. Trowers, please feel free to leave them in the comment section, and we will ensure that we get an answer for you. Mm-hmm. Now, Dr. Trowers, speaking about your work, I know you're very, very big on education, and you are big on motivating students about the value of education. Talk to me about how you've been going into schools and actually speaking with students, trying to get them to understand the value of education.
Okay, so initially, before we came to Jamaica, we were organized as a non-profit because I believe so strongly in giving back and teaching. But more recently, starting from the most recent event that we did, I created an organization, more of an initiative called Week of Transformation, and I partnered with JIS to an extent, with the Ministry of Education, with several teachers' college, and I want to say at this point, thanks to Michael and thanks to Case, and we went around different vulnerable, between the ministry and I, we identified some quote-unquote vulnerable schools who do not always have done well or who may have a large school size, and so we were able to go in and help the students to prepare for GSAT. And what I've done is I had a lot of GSAT books prepared, some assessments, and we know that the COMTAS, subjects are all important, but we know that also the COMTAS was one of the determining factors, and writing skills, sometimes they need help with writing. And so I gave away one of my books for free. We gave it often in in an electronic mode. We went to the schools, we talked to them. We had our big live cheetah, and that's always a big catch.
That's the cheetah mascot.
The cheetah mascot.
Okay.
So we have our dancing cheetah mascot that we're going to schools with to spread the message about learning. And we were able to, in partnership with the colleges, the Teachers College, were able to provide one-on-one support. And so we followed up also using the technology. So we get their WhatsApp information. I send the parents the book so they could utilize it. We chose some topics for them to write on. When they're finished, they could show it to me. They take a picture of it and show it to me. We make comments on them about the work they're doing. And so I really hope that we've made a difference.
So rewind to the part where you said you developed an ebook to assist with communication tasks.
Right.
And you were making it available for free to
for
the
free.
students.
Oh yeah. So, and that's what I realized, that you have to give back. And so, and I know the people that we're trying to target, they may have funds, but they may have limited resources, and we didn't want to charge them. We didn't want to feel like they don't have access. So what we really were trying to do is to leverage the proverbial playing field. Right? We're saying, okay, here are some of the tools that we want you to utilize, and these are some tips that you could use to boost your grades and to make a difference. So yeah, it was for free, and so I sent it to everybody that we know. We sent it to some people that we know in JTA, Jamaica Teachers Association. We sent it to different schools, and of course the schools that we went in individually. We were able to make it available to them.
It was also on the JIC's website.
Yes, I thank you for sharing that. So persons
could have downloaded that
yes.
just in time for GSAT.
For GSAT, yeah. So we're hoping we did make a difference. And then even though it was for GSAT, we also tried to emphasize the need for good writing, for great writing and being creative. So we're trying to prepare them not for GSAT, but just for life in general. Because when we travel, I travel, and maybe like you and the other our listeners, when you travel, you see the landscape is changing. You need to be able to read, you need to write, to fill out the forms. Even though we're going high-tech though, I see that some companies, like even in Britain now, they're doing facial recognition, so you don't have to do some of the forms. But ultimately, it's great to be able to utilize those skills.
You're going to always have to know how to read
and
how to write.
No matter what you do, the very basic level, you have to be able to read. And so at that point, we're still helping them to prepare for life beyond GSAT.
Well, some persons were saying hi to us.
Oh,
so
great.
There's hi, Leo Gilling.
Oh, Leo.
Rowan Johnson.
Before I go further, could I say a very big thank you to Leo? And I did not mention him, but Leo was one of the persons who was instrumental in coming to Jamaica. So
in getting you to come to Jamaica.
So
okay.
Initially, it's a lot of connection in terms of people knowing that I do my tablets, and someone saying, oh, they have a tablet in school program, you should talk to this guy Leo. And Leo is in charge of the diaspora educational system.
Right. We know Leo.
You know Leo very well. And then he made some connections with JTA, and when he came here, he brought me and president of JTA came with me to make an introduction to e-learning and to then Minister Paulwell. And Minister Paulwell then purchased all of the tablets that I had, the first set that I had for his constituency. Okay. And then that led to me knowing the Ministry of Education. And so Leo, so thank you. I have to say thank you to Leo.
There's Brian Henry. Hi, Brian Henry.
Yes, Brian. Yes. So
and Philip Thompson.
Okay, nice meeting you. Thanks for chiming in.
All right, so now it seems you have a lot and you want to share a lot, you want to give back, but it wasn't always like that, was it? So at this point, I think you can tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in Portland, being one of 14 siblings.
Oh my gosh, one of 14, and some, of course, my parents always adopting and having people from the neighborhood.
So that's where you got it from. Your parents are always giving back as well.
My mother, my God, Josephine Trowers, that woman, she didn't have a lot of formal education. In fact, she always mentioned, she's deceased now, but she always mentioned that she had to leave school early to take care of her siblings, so she didn't have a lot of formal education. But in terms of encouragement, commitment and giving back. Even when we send money for her, believe me, she's always giving money. Lunch money, people in the neighborhood would come to her and give and to get their lunch money. She's always giving back. Even nowadays, when people come to my house, I'm always giving them something because I see my mother do that. So she's always giving back. She'd never leave you empty-handed. She's always. So I think that's part of my upbringing.
She
always
was such
encouraging.
a
Oh my
influence.
gosh, always encouraging, hardworking.
And talk about that setback that you had at 17.
Oh, yeah. So at the time, yeah. So at the time, it was a little taboo growing up in the 80s. Oh, gosh, I'm getting old. But so here I was in high school, and I'm saying this as an encouragement to others.
Definitely.
So here I was in high school, pregnant. Last year, and I realized...
Which high school was it?
Oh, I should have mentioned that Titchfield.
Titchfield High.
Titchfield High.
Big up Titchfield.
Yeah, of course, big up Titchfield. My gosh, I love that school. So here I was in Titchfield, realizing the last school year that I was pregnant. Didn't tell anyone. I didn't have, at the time, I know my parents loved me, but you didn't have that close relationship, so I couldn't have gone to her. And I realized then that, oh my gosh, I'm going to be thrust into adulthood. I know that for now I'm not going to be able to go back to sixth form. And so what I did, though, out of all the things that are negative that have happened, something good have come forth. So here I was pregnant, and I decided I had to study. So I studied a lot more. And so I did 8 CXC at the time. And
this is while pregnant?
Yeah, 3 CXCs, 8 CXCs and 3 O-levels. So I had to take all my subjects at once. I had to get it done.
Right.
Yeah, I had to get all of them done that 1 year. And of course I was pregnant, I was sleepy. Sometimes I remember going and sitting down on a table like this at home. But
How long did you hide it? You said
I had it for long, for the entire pregnancy.
What?
I did. But then out of something bad came for something good, because at the end of that year I got the award.
Rewind. Tell us about the 11 subjects.
Yes.
So you studied much harder because you realized.
Oh, yes,
right?
I realized that I wasn't going to come back. I didn't have the luxury of coming back to school, to sixth form. So I realized that, listen, this now or never. I have to. What am I going to? So it's almost like I did an evaluation of myself. I was quiet, but I've always loved to read. I wasn't quite doing as well. I probably was a C student. But then the realization that I'm going to be responsible for this person kind of trust me and gave me the push to say, listen, I have to do a lot better. And so that's what I did. I studied a lot more, and at the end of that year, I got the highest award for my graduating class.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was good. So that's one of the many things that
out of the challenging time.
Yes.
But I really want to know what happened when you had the baby and your parents found out that.
But then ultimately, of course, by that time, my stomach was getting bigger, and my mother realized. And but I was in a relationship. I probably shouldn't have been in a relationship, but I was. And my parents, my mother, at the beginning, she said, me not will help you, because me tell you otherwise and whatever. But ultimately, my gosh, she helped me, and so I was able to do well too because of my family's support.
Right.
My mother was there, and even when I left, shortly after I left, and I came went away to the U.S., she was the one who took care of my son. For the year and a half while I was away making strive for him. And of course, he's my biggest support. I hope he's listening. We call him Sam. His name is Derek Sampson Jr. My biggest support. I love him. Of course, everybody thinks that he's his girlfriend sometimes. I love that. He doesn't
because you look so young.
He doesn't like that, but I like that. But he is my biggest supporter. And so I can't imagine not having him. So out of something bad again came for something good, because I have a son.
So if you could sum up, what would you say helped you to get through that negative situation, or what was potentially seen as a negative situation?
Part of it is my upbringing, and I have a very big spiritual background. Even though I go through a lot we still have stress in life, but we all do. I don't have to depend on any chemicals or anything, because my songs, I'm always singing. All of the songs that I learned in growing up in Sunday school and the Bible, they're a great source of comfort for me. So it propels me forward. And after you get older and you start to learn more, you realize that challenges are there, but they're just for you to overcome them. It's almost like you're fine oil. You're being purified. You're being proven and tested, and to come out on the other side makes you stronger.
Thank you. In talking to you, I could call you an ideas factory, which is why you run
thank you.
UTEC's business clinic. You're a
Yes.
full-time lecturer at
Yes,
UTEC, and
yes.
you are also involved in helping others with ideas to
Yes.
actually get these off the ground. Tell us just a little bit about your work at UTEC with the business clinic.
So
and so
I
on.
enjoyed being at UTEC, and I say hi to Mr. Steele and my boss Novelet and the many people that are there and the lecturers. So when they came, they based on what I'm doing as an entrepreneur, they thought I would be a great fit. And later on, I do realize that everybody that has come to my clinic, and well, not my clinic, university's clinic,
Yes.
I was able to support them in their ideas, because I've so many ideas that I know I will never be able to do in this lifetime. And so when they come, I'm able to interject some kind of innovation, and also trying to show them how I run my business, to say, okay, you have to have a social responsibility, you have to include technology in all that you do. So we have different components that I try to encourage them to do. So we are happy to also partner with the Development Bank of Jamaica. And so for businesses that are out there, I want to stress on that Jamaica, we are very big on entrepreneurship. We have a lot of programs that are going on. But if there's a voucher system that they could get from the Development Bank that could go towards technical services. So most people, if they're not making more than 150 million a year, and they haven't gotten one before, and they have a registered business, they would qualify for different technical services. So they won't get the money for that program, they won't get the money up front, but they'll be, as a business development organization, we meaning UTEC, our business development organization, we're able to provide technical services, whether it's going to be a business plan, strategic plan, mentorship training, strategic plans, and so on. We're able to provide that for them, and also help them for 6 months.
So if you have an idea for a business,
Yes.
Dr. Trowers is a good person to
Yes,
talk with.
thank you,
All right,
please.
Dr. Trowers, we're gonna wrap up now.
Okay, great.
But I
Thank
think
you.
I think what I'm learning from you is you can actually build on others, the ideas of others, and make something
yes.
for yourself. So
Yeah.
give us a closing, a parting shot. What's your advice to people out there who are thinking of, starting a business, doing something big?
Okay, so I'd like to tell them that we are born with a blueprint, something it's not stamped on our face, but then over discovery you'll get to know who you are. And so if you have an idea for a business, that may be what you're here for, the purpose that you're suited for. But you may want to evaluate yourself, similar to what I've always done. I'm constantly evaluating myself. And so for those business persons, you have a new idea. First, I want you to step back a little and look at yourself. Who are you? What are you doing here? Here not necessarily mean a physical location, but here on earth. What's your purpose? And do you have the skills that you need? And then also to identify the pain. So if you have an idea and you believe that you have these skills, meaning that you're creative, you're a calculated risk taker, you're resourceful, you're innovative, you can persevere, and you believe that you have the value, you can bring value to a customer, then try to make sure that you understand the person's pain, or what's the problem, and you should be the aspirin. What is it that you're trying to solve? Because if you're not doing that, then most likely not going to be able to have a viable business. And you want to become knowledgeable. And so anything that you want to learn now, the technology is out there. You Google it and you're able to just take the time and learn. And remember what I said earlier about catch them bragging.
Yes.
Yeah, and see what your competitors
I'm not going to
are
forget that.
See what your competitors are doing and try to make yourself even better. And also, for me, I have my personal mantra called C8, that I believe that my Creator has given me. But I think it has not just given it to me, has given it to most of us. So for the first C, I try to have my Creator first. So again, I'm spiritual. I like to have an attitude of gratitude. So I love to give back. I love to say thanks. So thanks for waking up. When I wake up in the morning, I'm truly thankful for being here another day. And I'm another C is the comprehension skills. I'm thankful for the comprehension skills that I've gotten. And so for you in a business, you have to have a comprehension of what's the market like, what are your competitors, what's the industry, what kind of, who is your boss, because we all have a boss, what's the legal authority that's over you. So you need to have an understanding of that and a comprehension. You need to be creative, another C. How do you see yourself? For me, I am able to create new things. So I love writing. I love the ideas, so I'm trying to be with my creator, try to be at peace, and it's amazing all the ideas that comes to me. So you're able to create something new, but also, like you had mentioned, take something old and make it new. Another C is that you have to have courage.
Right.
You have to be able to step out into the unknown and do something different, do something new, and have perseverance and not give up. And for me, I ask God all the time to be my compass, to be my guide. I'm doing big things, and I have little time and often little resources. So whatever I set out to do, it has to be meaningful, and it has to be very impactful. So I constantly ask for guidance. Connection. We cannot do anything without each other. So no matter how good my toys or how good my books are, if you're not there to read it and to enjoy it, then what good is it what I'm doing? So we need to be connected. So I love meeting people. I'm constantly taking people's number. I'm truly interested in people too, but I really love to stay connected.
Yes.
And comfort. So there are times when you're not going to feel like you are doing well, especially sometimes you work alone. In business, they call it emotional loneliness. So if you're working alone sometimes, you may feel like, oh my gosh, you can't do it. But I'm spiritual again, and a lot of us are. So just be comforted that in all things are possible, and He's there to help and guide you. And of course, last but not least, another C for me is just having great character. I want to be transparent. I want to be just. I want to do all the good things and help others as I go along.
Thank you so much, Dr. Trowers.
Thank you again so much for having me.
Miss
It's a
Ideas
pleasure.
Factory. And of course, to take us out, we're going to have La Chase doing his dance.
Yeah.
And of course, if you want to find out more about Cheetah, where can they get more information?
Okay, so our website is mydreamcheetah, CheetAH.net, mydreamcheetah.net. Our slogan, Chasing Your Dreams with You, that's what we do. We're also on Facebook under My Dream Cheetah. You could always get me. A great way to get me is by WhatsApp. It's a US number, but it doesn't matter, technology. It's 1-860-794-5082. That's my WhatsApp, 1-860-794-5082. And reach out to me, and I'll answer your questions and give you some more information. So let me help you to find that button. Great.
There you go.
Okay.